We're returning in our discussion to our scenario started in a prior video, the one about the building of an office complex. Remember, we're building an office leasing building. After you inspect, we find that there was no landlines, no conduits, no ability for anyone to basically have an office space or to use the space as an office. So let's move to slide 10. In this hypothetical, we're stuck with a building on our land that we didn't pay for, and there was no contract, for the contract failed due to the builder's material breach. We don't have to perform when the other party failed. But is there a fairness problem here? Would some legal doctrine allow the general contractor to recover some losses? So let's move to our last discussion on quasi-contract damages. Quasi-contract means like a contract, but not a contract. It's more like a broken promise or reliance that's reasonable. Here the court will say there is no contract due to the breach. Indeed, one party broke that deal and is not entitled to any performance under the contract. However, that party may be entitled to another remedy under a rule of fairness. So on slide 10, we have 4 bullet points in this case to consider. 1, did the contractor confer a benefit to us? Yes, the contractor built a building. 2, when he built the building, did he do so with the expectation of being paid? Yes, of course he did. In all fairness, he was going to get paid, and we were going to pay him. Did he volunteer the building? Number 3, no. Number 4, if we don't pay for it and we keep the building, is that going to result in some enrichment to us to the tune of the detriment to the contractor? Yes. An enrichment is here an unjust enrichment because we're keeping something that we should have paid for, but we're not paying for it. Here, then, the court would provide a remedy based upon fairness or equity, and we will pay a recovery under quasi-contract theory, meaning in all fairness he should get paid. We don't need to keep this building on our property as a windfall to his harm. So here's the question, though. I must write a check to pay for the equity that we received in spite of the contract. What amount do I write the check? Can you figure it out? As an office manager, that will be your task. Well, here's a hint. What did we get? What is the value of what we received in that building that we didn't want? What can it be used for? Pause here and see if you can solve this legal problem. An answer would be, if you've used a market analysis to answer, you could review the market and find out what other buildings of similar use will cost. For instance, without phone lines, our building might serve as an upscale warehouse. And if you looked at the warehouse market in our community, perhaps with an expert such as a broker, you might find a fair market value for a warehouse of that kind, of that size, in that location or similar location. What would the value of that building be? So consider that if we have an estimate from our expert, let's say it comes in at $1.5 million, instead of the $5 million for the contract price, for instance. I would then write a check for that value, $1.5 million, for a building that we wanted, no, for a warehouse that we received. The next question, are we then stuck with a warehouse? Are we now in the warehouse business against our will? Am I supposed to be a warehouser instead of a leasing office specialist? No, there is an open market, a fair market, the fair market value, and we can then sell that building for what it is. We can then use the proceeds to buy other land and enter into new contracts, hopefully this time with a different general contractor. As we finish, let's discuss this theory of quantum meruit. Quantum meruit means true value. So here, the 1.5 million under quasi-contract theory has a quantum Merowith value of 1.5. 1.5 is the true value, and due to fairness, or again, quasi-contract principles, I must pay the 1.5 million to prevent an unjust enrichment on our part. I will end the video series now, but contact me if you wish to discuss these matters further.